All right, it's Media Day. We are talking 3-6A with the defending and reigning 6A Division One state championship coach, Ray Gates over at North Crowley. We went ahead and significantly took the Hunter thing off of your back, and now put you down as the hunted. As Diggs' preseason rankings already came out, and he's got you at number one as it should be with you guys being defending champs. How has this offseason been? Besides all the parades and the hoist and the looking at new rings and stuff like that, how's that been for you in this team?
Well, it's been like every other off season that we've been here. We've been super busy. Once we had an opportunity to win a state championship this year, there was a moment in time in which we had to celebrate, and then we put pretty much a period behind it, and we started working towards this season because we realized what we did last year has no effect on this year, and you have to be able to do it again. And so that's what we've been focusing on. And our kids have done a really good job of just buying into the work and the process of what it takes in order to get to that position again. And everyone knows, it's hard as heck to get to the game. It's even harder to win it, but to be in position to do it, back to back. There's only a few teams that have ever done that. And so we know it's going to be a harder challenge this year for us to be able to overcome some of the things that we will face, but we'll be ready for it.
Yeah. Some of the things, one of the main things you're going to overcome is a lot of those star-studded players are off to Division One colleges now, and they have to have their roles filled. What are you thinking about as far as filling roles at the for Jimerson and Gibson and Warren and a bunch of defensive players? Talk to me about how it's. Are you ready for that next man to step up?
Well, the beautiful thing about playing 16 games and playing it over the fashion that we have been able to as far as winning games is that it allows you to play a lot of kids. And we're a very deep football team. On our varsity roster, we had 48, I believe, seniors on that team, and we had about another 20 to 25 kids that played a lot of football for us. From district all the way into some games in the playoffs. So we have a lot of experience from guys that have played in roles and in spots, and some guys that started for us at the back. So, it's always the same approach. It's the next man up. It's the next mentality. This train is going to keep rolling, no matter who's at the helm. There's an expectation and a standard that we have to meet, and I think when you prepare that way, your guys understand that, and it's not more pressure on them more than them and their competitive edge trying to accept the challenge. And I think that's what you see with us and the guys that we will have this year. Everybody will talk about what we lost, but we're talking about what we have, and I think that's going to shock a lot of people because we have a lot of good football players on this football team, and we have some guys that have a chip and an edge on their shoulder, and they get an opportunity to show that this season.
Well, what one thing that you haven't lost is that girth up front, and we talked about Henry Fanuku last year, but now this year it's going to be all about turn time, right? I mean, you got him on the offensive line. It almost feels like 3-6A is big lineman you because you got Felix over there at Lake Ridge. But talk about your offensive line and how that, if you are bringing in a new quarterback, the fact that his jersey probably is not going to get too dirty, it's got to be a good thing because of those big boys up front.
Well, it always starts in the trenches on both sides of the ball. We want to be physical, on the defensive line, the offensive line. And then when you have, a lot of, the veteran leadership in the trenches that, we do on both sides of the ball, those guys can gel together really, really quickly. And I think that's what's, most important for us is that we want to be, physical, and we want to have those guys ready to go, when it's time for us. So, we're really excited with the growth that we had over our spring with our offensive line. There are going to be some young faces up there, some new faces, and it's going to be a good blend of guys that have played a lot for us, stepping into those new roles. But, when you have a system and the kids understand the system, it's just now them being able to go and do what we know that they can do on a Friday night setting. And our schedule definitely will help accelerate that process with those guys. But we're looking forward, to the challenge with those guys because, again, being in the trenches, that's where we have to start. And the skilled guys that we have, they can make everything else go. So.
All right, last thing for you. Since, like I said earlier in this deal, everybody's had their eyes on Q and Jimerson and all them. Is there a player that's going to be coming up this year that you're like, all right, y'all didn't know about Q last year, and then you knew? Is there a player like that for this year that you want to kind of shout out or two?
Yeah, man, we have. I mean, we have an exceptional group of talent. You know, if you're starting on the defensive end, our entire back end and our secondary, power four guys. You have, Aaron Bradshaw, who's committed right now to Texas Tech. You have Elijah Fats Houston, who has over 15, 16 offers, just got Texas a couple of days ago. You have Jerry Outhouse, who's a four-star corner who right now has just about every offer in the country. And then you have Thomas Cook, who's played a lot of ball for us, who has about 10 Division I offers as well. So, on the defense side of the ball, the back end really is going to be a strong suit. I'm really excited about our front, our defensive line. They're very, very big and fast. This may be the fastest defense that we've had since I've been here. Very long levered guys, high motor, high energy guys, and they wreak a lot of havoc. And I'm excited to see our guys be able to play, come the fall. And then you have a linebacker group with, three guys who are really, really good. We had, Brock Lacey, who played for us as a freshman, who's starting for us at outside backer. Avery Dotson, who will be a junior, who's starting for us as well. And then we have Amaj Mitchell, who's going to be a really good football player for us in the middle. And then on the outside, at the wide receiver position, Damarian Mays is kind of the headliner in that group. As a freshman last year, he was an All-American, 1,600 yards, 16 touchdowns, 6'3", kid, ran a 4.5 at the Under Armour camp as a freshman. He's going to be a sophomore. He's an unbelievable football player. Hayden Green is another one of those long guys on the outside, 6'3", 200 pounds. It's about 5 or 6 Division I offers now. And then Cade Smith is a slot for us. He's a sophomore. So all of our receivers right now that are starting for us currently are all sophomores with high potential. Cade has about 6 or 7 offers, and he can play slot. He can play running back. I mean, you just put him wherever you want to when he makes things happen. And then we have 2 really good running backs, and Keontae Ingram and Rel Smith, who I'm really excited about. Those guys, both juniors. And, we have about, 2 or 3 quarterbacks right now that's going through it. Jacob Torres, who was a kid that was here. He left as a freshman. He transferred back. He's a really good kid, makes all the throws, and cerebral kid. DeMarcus Harris is going to be a senior. There's another kid that has all the tools to get it done. So, we have a lot of what we need in order to make the run that we need to make. It's all about how we're going to bake this cake and how it's going to taste, when playoffs come. And so we're really excited about this group. And I think we're going to surprise a lot of people who think that, we lost a lot. And those guys that, had a lot of that production is gone, which is true. But a lot of these guys that are back are ready and they're hungry as well.
Well, I know all of 817 and can't wait to taste that cake as well. So I appreciate you joining me, and good luck on your quest for the repeat.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.